Hello, this is Matthew, or with Amnesia, or Rockford Ice Cream, whatever. And I was figured to do this a kind of a weekly series, so these are kind of taken in like 15 seconds worked out. These pictures look like green on this one here. So it looks like these greens are uncommon items when early levels. Everything feels all the levels come in quick, but they feel like chunky. They feel they make a difference. When you get like say like something that's like 100 and 102 stats versus like 100, like, you don't really feel the difference. Versus even this one, it's like less is more. They feel they matter in a sense. Like they have like a 20 or 15%, like 1 in 5, 1 in 4, feeling of a difference. And I think that's a good something to aim for. I remember like I like that a lot. That sense of progression, that sense of it's like a great adventure. This early stage of the game, it feels like it's like or these items. I feel like even though they're small stats, I feel like they're really important still. You can really feel that these things. When I feel like if you get too much numbers, you can't feel it anymore. It just comes like your brain doesn't really register them very good. It's just not natural. I remember Dungeons and Dragons, Baldur's Gate was like that. Like +1, like strength was a big deal because you only had 18, or up to 25. But here's up to like 100, up to like I don't know, like 500, 1,000 or something. That doesn't really feel very impactful at the end of the game. So that even wearing it, that was better than the little thing I had. Upgrades, all these, they all feel upgrade. I know your gear is pretty bad early on, but these games, they're all items and stuff and power and progression. But that sense of experience, though, that sense of actual what the world feels like. I'm in lock mode down again. Looks like I'm adventuring around. But I remember all these things. I like this early on. Yeah, the Shadow Fang. Remember, couldn't find that on retail because the drop rates are all messed up. But stuff. That's actually playing Diablo 1. What was it? That's a little Easter egg, not Easter egg, but a little quest thing. It's in Diablo 2, but yeah, actually cool. Um, yeah, during the auction I was here. It's kind of neat. All the player trading, I like that a lot. But all these, they feel like big, impactful early on. I think that's kind of the better way to do it. I think is to have items feel like they have a difference. Because if you have like 1 to 10, right? Um, 1 to 2 is going to be like a big difference, like 50%, but like 9 to 10 is not really going to feel it. I know it kind of tapers off, but still, you should. As I try to have things feel impactful in my game, I try to have like say like a 1 to 100, like 99 to 100 isn't just like a 1%. It's actually like a save some like about 15%. So it feels like because when you get end game, say you get to 60, it feels impactful. It feels like it's a different. You get like the mount, you get more access to more areas of improvement, but it feels like a 20 or 30% upgrade. So I feel like that's a good, and also in your storytelling, sometimes you can exaggerate things, and say it's like a 10% upgrade, but it feels like a 20 or 30%, or it's enough to actually to overcome an obstacle. Hogger, yeah, a Hogger for example, yeah. What was it? He's a big obstacle. If you overcame him by like a little upgrade, that'd feel like a big upgrade, right? Even if it was like a 10% and stuff like that, right? He's a classic example of an obstacle. You feel like he's really difficult, and usually the more reward you feel, the greater the challenge was. So stuff like this, little pockets of difficulty, this great little thing. It feels like a great adventure this early time of the game, when everything's flying and all these little bits of everything could be helpful. There's a bit of mystery usually when especially when you're a younger or new player. All these little rewards, they feel like impactful. They feel like even though they're green, they feel like they're or uncommon. They feel like they're big ziff stats. Your gear doesn't. I kind of wish that normal gear didn't have all this. Like there was like say greens didn't even have stats because it in sense of the rarity. So you'd actually magical stuff would feel a bit more magical, like in Dungeons and Dragons. There was stuff that didn't have any stats, but it like stamina and agility. It just had like better overall. Like this, a green didn't even it was like if you have greens didn't have stats, and that's a better way to do it. Like a RuneScape's kind of like that. A lot of stuff when it actually has stats, it's like kind of it feels more magical, more big deal, right? Kind of makes sense too, Like how do you get more agility or more stamina for something? Well, magic. Well, magic should be hard to find unless it feels like a garden hose. It's oversaturated, then it loses its magic. So you gotta have like almost like storytelling. But I think there's a good feeling I think with these early games, especially like blues, rare stuff. Like they feel really really powerful. Epic is like it feels really epic, and early on I think you should be able to get those stuff around around mid game, but it should be really hard. Now you want to like, scale in players and all that, right? But I think with so much experience, there's more, you know, more areas you can optimize in with oh yeah, all these things. Yeah, I can't even use them, but I'm just like taking screenshots. I guess it's drops whatnot. It feels cool, you know, to get stuff. It should have a purpose. I like Path of Exile or Diablo for the trading. All this quest. I like Diablo because everything's relevant. But you can basically get like a chicken. You gotta like you gotta go balk to or go collect whatever, and the egg spawns you like a little chicken pet. It's kind of a little Easter egg. It's kind of neat. I think Westfall is one of the first areas that has all these little experimental things, especially the L1. Always that you don't see anymore because they're just experiment different things. All these little details they put in, like the whole is just trying out new things. And they got streamlined later on, especially with I remember it was rushed the horde place, Kalimdor. It was kind of Orgrimmar was barren, whatever. So I hear screenshots at lunch. So yeah, just I remember the styles of creation was a bit different. People don't really notice, but you kind of see if you look really close. So like this, for example, doesn't really, you don't find it over in like a winter, spring or something like that, or launch. Sometimes things get launched and it's good enough. I was thinking about this system of like A, B, C, whatever, right? What's the minimum amount for an A, like an A minus? I think it's about, a lot of people would say about 80%. It does like 4 to 5, right? So if you get 4 to 5 things like feeling really good, the people can usually give you 1 out of 5 mistakes. But if it's a bit more than that, it feels not so good. I think this area has a lot of 4 out of 5s, if not more, or it has little details that make that difference. I think that's the big thing. It's usually like the last 20% is the hardest bit, right? But if you get up to that 80%, then everything else is kind of like as a standard. I think that's a really good formula. Then if you want to apply more areas, focus, you can just do that. Get extra bank. Yeah, 4 to 5 should be a place to aim towards, I think. All these names, you never see, and I don't remember any of them. I still have my memory with me. I want to do the series so I can remember stuff, right? But all these items, they feel special, Like, I feel like you should be able to use these. I remember in Dungeons and Dragons feeling it, or Baldur's Gate didn't feel very cool when you got restricted. You couldn't use certain items because you're a mage or this. It doesn't make any sense. You should use everything unless if you could do it in real life in a sense, or for some storytelling reason for it, right? That does make sense with the world, like Tolkien did, right? Tolkien, it's Gandalf had a sword and whatnot, right? And because it could make sense. There should be some type of grounded reason. I was looking at a castle today. It was on the Holy Island, whatever, on the Northumbria, for slopes. I want to do slopes for my castle, my game. Take that Underworld band, for example. That's really epic stuff because even if you do the math, that rare or that epic, it's maybe underwhelming, but it had such a big this is early days in the server too, so there was stuff like that. Elemental Mage Staff, Blackguard. I think these are, you can get that from running. You can do a mage and do like Zolgarub. You can solo a raid and get that stuff, or just drops, or just probably auction house farming. Do it, but yeah, stuff like that kind of. I think those items are special because they feel impactful. They're rare. They're hard to get. I remember crafting stuff like epics, and they just didn't feel as impactful. Sometimes they're too rare. I think though the world drop at once, because if you have like 2,000 people on a server or whatever, you get some flown in, but still, it just doesn't really feel. I don't know. Different priorities, I guess. But you should be able to. My gear's all ratcheted out. Those items I got. But yeah, anyway, I was working on this castle because I'm trying to figure out how to do slopes, because I'm missing some slopes ability on my tile set, which I think is important because, for example, if you just have stairs, you can't get wagons up the stairs. Because in real life, you need a slope cart. That's an example of trying to use real-world problem solving to make the world feel more alive. Versus you put stairs there, sure, but you wouldn't make any sense when you actually see if you had to run or operate, repair, within the setting. These things teach you these things if you listen to them. The real world teaches you these things. That's why good storytellers usually have an experience in real life that they can put into their stories. Like Tolkien, World War One, right? And also did Old Norse mythology. So his stories really had something to actually tell, had a bit more spirit in it, I guess you could say, versus just emulate. Anyway, this is near the end of the video. I think I'm going on. Next video would be like dead mines for that, or caves and stuff. But yeah, this is the first part of that. Anyway, this is Matthew with Amnesia, or Rockport Ice Cream. Signing out. Have fun. Take care, and see you in the next one here, I guess. Looks like Defies Messenger. Let's go into the dead mines. on next one. All right, bye for now.